I'm Chef Jasper, and today we're in the kitchen preparing an old New Orleans classic. That's right, New Orleans classic, and that's gumbo. And you're gonna love this recipe. We can always have some variations. It's not as easy as everybody says. It doesn't take, 4 and 5 hours. It will take a little time. We'll do this in several stages, but you're gonna absolutely love it. I guarantee you. There it is. That old Louisiana accent is coming out for some reason right now. Okay, let's get a big old pot here and start. We need to make a roux. What is a roux? Okay, well, there's several types of roux. We don't want a blonde roux. We don't want a peanut butter colored roux. We want a chocolate roux. That's right, dark, dark, dark chocolate. And how do you achieve that? There's only one way, time. What we're going to do here is just start cooking this down and make sure we get rid of any lumps or anything like that. But you know what? I can't stress this enough. Time. T-I-M-E for a roux. While this is cooking down, and this may take about 35, 40, 45 minutes. It just depends. I'll lower it. I got it going pretty good right now, but we really just want to brown it off. In the meantime, let's talk about gumbo. And what is gumbo? All the flavors of Louisiana, Creole cuisine, African, Asian, Indian, old European, everything coming together here to make a soup or stew, thick stew, seafood, a little meat in there. I'm going to use a little andouille sausage. It's up to you what you add. We'll talk about that too. But in the meantime, our roux is really cooking down. Of course, we're going to put a little filet in there. What's filet? You're going to have to wait and see until we start cooking this roux down. So just let it brown. That's all I can say. A little patience. Grab yourself something to drink. Sit back, turn the TV on, and relax. Just keep your eye on that roux and continue to stir it. Don't let it burn. We want it nice and chocolate brown. Well, it's been about 35, 40 minutes. And my roux is chocolate as chocolate can be. I mean, seriously, we could probably fool someone and let them taste this and think they're going to be tasting some melted chocolate. That's what I want it to look like. And now it's time to add some onions and celery and green peppers. What our good friend Emerald likes to say, the Holy Trinity. So let's add those onions. And of course, our celery. Now, a little trick here. This needs to cook a little bit longer, the celery and onions. So while that is cooking, let me cut up some green peppers. Show you a couple tricks there also. All right, get your green pepper here. Get your finger here, just smash it right down in the middle. Take out that core. It's that simple, okay? And we can get rid of the seeds that way also. If you don't want the seeds, I don't mind the seeds. I kind of like the seeds in there. Now, get your pepper, cut it in half. One thing I do not like is this little white membrane here. So we'll just take that out. How simple is this? And go right along the edge here and just peel it. That can go great into our vegetable stock. We don't want to throw that away. I like those seeds, like I said, so don't throw those away. And cut the pepper one more time and just go right along here and get rid of that little membrane there. Simple as can be. More seeds, we like that. And then we'll start cutting. I don't like to throw any of my vegetable scraps away. They go great into my stock. You always need a vegetable stock, just like you need a chicken and beef stock. Make it up ahead of time. Put it in the refrigerator or the freezer until you're ready to use it. I like to put it in ice cube trays, that's right. Now, we'll just start cutting these peppers up. And while that roux is cooking down, this is the last thing I will add to the Holy Trinity. Put this over here. And it depends on how big the peppers you want them. Do you want them small? Do you want nice little cubes? Do you want bite-sized pieces? I'm not really into bite-sized pieces. So let's cut these down a little bit. Looks like a lot of pepper, but believe me, when this all cooks down, it's not going to be a lot. Every family has a different recipe. Of course, I'm going back to my good friend, the Cajun himself. He's from down in Homa, and the man taught me how to make some of the finest gumbo you've ever had, you've ever tasted. But one thing is missing. So how do I tell my good friend, James Dewey, James, where is the okra? Gumbo means okra. Come on. So you got to have okra in here. Not really. It just depends on the season, especially down in old New Orleans. So if you want to add okra, if you can get okra in the store, if it's fresh, then go ahead and add it. Because here's the thing. His family will not put okra in there unless it's from the garden. It doesn't mean that they don't make gumbo on New Year's Eve, because that's just a tradition. But what do? They add the filet. And what's the filet? That's gumbo filet. That's the sassafras. My green peppers are chopped enough. And at this point in the game, let's just add those to our roux. And it's cooking down. Man, is it cooking down. I may lower the heat just a little bit. I don't know. I like the way it's cooking. Continue this up. Another maybe 3 or 4 minutes. Let it cook down. And, of course, if you're in this kitchen right now, man, can you smell this? Oh, my. We have it going right now. I'm making James Dewey very, very proud right now. Yes, sir, it's cooking, and it's time to add some sausage. A little more flavor. Now, you may be looking at the recipe, and you're thinking to yourself, wait a second, where's the garlic? This is James' idea, and sometimes, you know, it's up to you. You want to cook the garlic ahead of time in with the Holy Trinity, you can. But remember what I always say about cooking with garlic. We do not want to burn the garlic. We do not want to overcook the garlic in any way, because what happens? It gives the dish a whole different flavor. So we're going to add it once we add our stock. And it won't be bite-sized. It's not like you're going to chop into it or anything like that. It's up to you. A little more flavor. You know, we're working with a lot of flavor here. I'm just cutting this andouille up. It depends how you cut it. Do you want to quarter it? Do you want to chop it? That's up to you. You know, be creative with this dish. Now, I've also kind of cheated a little bit because there's that Italian in me. And I got to use a little Italian sausage in here. Sausage is great. Pork sausage, such good flavor. That's our base also. So, let's start in. Let's add this sausage here. Oh, yeah. How many times am I going to say it? I wish you were here and you could smell this. But you have the recipe. You're watching me prepare it, so you know what to do. A quick stir. This is about as dark as any gumbo's ever going to get. At this point, we're going to add our seafood stock. I'm only going to add half of it. And we're just going to clean the whole pot with it. Let this cook down again, probably another 10 minutes or so. Get all the flavors, they've all come together. The peppers, the onions, the celery. The roux has given it such great depth. A little bit of andouille. In the meantime, let's finish with more of our broth. Now, some people use a seafood broth. You may want a chicken broth or a beef broth. I mean, don't go crazy if you can't find a seafood broth. Again, what are we doing? Just building layers here right now. At this point, let's cut up some green onions. And once we finish with the green onions, of course, we're going to put some more on top when we serve it. So reserve some of those. Let's start with that garlic, and we're going to talk about the seafood and what we want to add, because you know what? Crawfish is on the menu. It's in the recipe, and it's just part of making gumbo. That's right. Our garlic, please, please, don't smash that garlic. That's just for show. Bring everything together. That's all that's happening. And we need to start talking about building more flavor in this dish. A little bit of cayenne. Our filet. This is a must. Gumbo filet, you have to have it. It's up to you. You want to add a little red peppers. I already got the cayenne. Black pepper. Some chefs will add the black pepper during the roux process. So whatever you like to do, however you were raised, I think a little black pepper at this stage is best. Salt. This is tricky. Taste. You must taste this before we add the salt. And the filet is looking like it's not going to dissolve. It will. Just give it time. Once it starts coming up. Using a lot of culinary terms here today, but be patient. And now we'll see where we're at with the salt. Why do you say we'll see where we're at with the salt? Because the andouille is salty. Our roux, our chocolate roux, of course, you're going to taste a little bit of that pepper. You may want to adjust that too. You may want to add some more at the end. But what happens, that roux, the flour, and of course the oil becomes a little salty, really. So it's kind of like natural, you know. It's going to need a little salt. But first, I want to add my other ingredients. So let's add our garlic at this point. And then, make sure we get it all there. And then our shrimp in stages. Of course, the crawfish. This is going to be salty already, so we know that. And, oh man, load it up. Now, for those of you who don't want to mess with the crawfish meat, of course, trying to get it out, I'm going to add some more of the crawfish already cut up, some chopped up crab, and just start giving this all a good stir. There we go. This is really coming together. Now, you could sit back and relax a little bit, finish up with some of those green onions. Remember, reserve some of those to put on top. And I'm going to taste it one more time because I told you once we add that seafood, it's going to give it some more salt. Just a natural, salt from the ocean. Let's give it a little taste here. Just a touch. That's it. Add our bay leaves. Now keep your eye on this. We're putting in 1, 2, 3 bay leaves. Don't smash them up. Put them in there because we're going to look for those before we serve it. We don't want anybody eating a whole bay leaf. And we'll take those out before we actually put it in the pot. Okay, this is really about it. The last thing I'm going to put in is the parsley. And we have ourselves some gumbo. Give it a minute here. And at this point, we're going to add the remaining water here. Give this a nice stir. Of course, it's still boiling here. Let's give it a taste. Absolutely delicious. Finish up with our parsley. And here we go. It's time to serve it. I boiled some rice ahead of time. Let's get this rice, pack it into this bowl. No butter on this rice, just plain boiled rice. I don't like instant rice. Kind of pack this down as much as possible. We want a nice serving here. And watch the magic start to happen. Get our plate, put it right on top, just like this here. Give it a tap. How's that looking? pretty good to me. Finish this now. Oh, here we go. Surround this dish with all that goodness. I don't think it gets any better. We're talking New Orleans gumbo. Some green onions right on top. And you know what? We have the perfect meal for Mardi Gras or any time of the year. I guarantee you're going to absolutely love it. And something I would be proud to serve my family. Brought to you by Hen House Markets.